You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 24th meeting of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Managers. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call to order the October 25th, 2023 meeting of the Board of Managers for the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. May we have the roll call, please?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Pause. Becky Greenlaw.
Here.
Pat Harris.
Here.
Corinne Myers.
Here.
Stacy Benning. Martha King.
Here.
Adam Konechny.
Here.
Laura Krantz. Mike Seitz.
Present.
Doug Waters.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll move right into our minutes for September 26th meeting, 2023. If you had an opportunity to review them, I need a motion for approval.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Becky Greenlaw and a second by Doug Waters. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. For my report this month, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of our FMEC activities, which is the Fairground Management and Events Corporation, which I'm assigned as a representative for the Tourism Bureau. We have a board spot, or a board spot on that organization's board of directors, and right now I'm serving in that capacity. Moving right along with a lot of infrastructure work still, trying to get the grounds ready for the big events that we want to bring in to the fairgrounds. So right now we're looking at the campground, we're looking at doing a strategy session next week, which will look at future plans for bringing in big groups and what we want the grounds to look like. So we're going to be actually looking at a layout of the facility and enhancing certain aspects of the grounds. The one thing we're looking at is a coliseum type of a concept where it'll be a multi-purpose arena or event center to host really big events in. And we're talking, a variety of different types of activities for the future. So we're going to be looking at that and looking at, what type of cost structure should go into that. So that's where we are right now. That's kind of the big thing. We're still doing a lot of activities out there, staying very busy on a weekly basis, especially through the summer months. The rentals have been very good here. The campground facility has been very productive over the summer in its usage. So we're doing very well there. So just wanted to give you kind of a quick update on that. Also, Linda and I are working with the NAACP on their their state convention that is coming to Michigan City next week, not this weekend, but next weekend, the 2nd through the 5th of November. And it's being hosted at PNW, or Purdue Northwest. But there will be some activities in Michigan City, but most of the workshops and convention activities will be out there. And so we're working with them on bringing the people into the city, and also helping with transportation and registration. So we're very involved with that, and we're happy to be part of that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. We'll move right to our treasurer's report.
Okay. For September 2023, total accounts payable of $48,665.40. Total payroll, $44,641.54, for a grand total of $93,306.94. And I have the detailed September statements, financial position, the profit and loss budget performance, and the reconciliation detail for your review.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Doug Waters and a second by Mike Sykes to approve the financials as presented by Becky Greenlaw. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Mr. CEO Jack Arnett, what do you got for us this month?
Well,
Anything happening?
actually, November's looks like August is here again. The way things are shaping up for November, it's going to be quite a month for us. So, first of all, y'all got a chance to see the new carpet. I apologize, we have not got everything cleaned up yet. I was a little taken back when I got in this morning that we dropped the ball a little bit. I'm work on that as soon as this meeting's over, but it should have been cleaned up, and I apologize. But they did just finish up the other day, and so we're still getting things in. But Gail did a great job, I think, orchestrating that in two sections like she did, and the way they the style of carpet that you chose and everything, just perfect. So I'm real happy with that. It adds a lot to the place. So great job with that, and thanks to the board for letting us work through that and getting that out there. So, visitor's assessment, formerly the innkeeper's tax, right on track. It's that time of the month where we should be getting our installment here any day, and we'll be able to make some projections for this last quarter. But I feel very comfortable in projecting that we're going to stay in the same mode we have the last couple of years and end up well ahead of last year again. And it sounds like a broken record. I say this just about every meeting. I don't know how we can keep doing that with the number of beds we have, because they've not increased at all. In fact, they went down. And that just says a lot for the staff and for the hotel committee and what Amy does there. I mean, we're squeezing every room out we can, and that's really a good thing. On hotel rooms, we do have some positive stuff to report. As you know, there's some groundbreaking happened, and that's been reported last couple meetings. The former Best Western LaPorte Pine Lake Resort is up and running. It's going. They've got their national chain restaurant, Uno, going. They opened up over the weekend. Actually, we're hosting a statewide billiard tournament there the 18th of November. That's a big one, too. In fact, our friends in Lake County had hosted it a couple times while we didn't have any place in LaPorte County, as you all know, for quite a while. That was in that middle range between Blue Chip and the other properties. And we've worked with Lake County. We've got it back here this year, but that's going to be a big one. I mean, they literally bring in, it's a big group. It's several thousand delegates that'll be coming in for that. It's big. And then that goes right to my next point that Pat touched on, the NAACP group coming in. That's a huge group. We've got 3 hotels occupied. We're going to probably drive in 2 vehicles for 4 days next week, moving people around, back to the meetings, back and forth. It's a really big group. For November, it's a big deal for us to get a group like that in. And then Linda and Pat, it's been having split up in 3 hotels and having to go out to PW, it's a little different. We're used to kind of locating at Blue Chip for everything, and it's adding a few challenges, but thanks to Linda and Pat for help staying on that. And I've got Scott and Rick and Katie and Chelsea ready to roll drive-wise, vehicle-wise for those 4 days. We kick off 3 weeks of youth football at Ames Field for 11 states. We'll be feeding into Michigan City starting November 11th and working through the end of the month. And that's going to be another big hit for our hotel, especially for November. As you all know, in these youth tournaments that we do, whether it's baseball or football or or even the volleyball, you never know who's going to advance in these things coming in. If it's a lot of Indiana, Illinois teams that advance, our bed space is not quite as challenged. But if it's teams that happen to advance from Kansas City or Detroit or Cleveland, and we're watching that real close, and we already know that we're going to have, it looks like, a decent year, and room nights for that too. We've already had the cheer portion of it at the Civic. Brett hosted that 2 weeks ago, and for a small event, that one really does well for us. So that was the youth sport thing continues to hold us up in these off months. Okay, NAACP. Notre Dame football is still just carrying us in the fall. Unbelievable. I was looking at the average daily rate for all the way through since football started, and our hotels are taking such advantage of that. They are really getting smart on figuring out, hey, look, the demand is there. Let's go with the supply and demand. Let's get that extra money, and we have been. The hotels are doing a great job with that, and watching Amy's reports from the hotel committee, that's exactly what we're hearing back from the hotels. We go see them, and it's been great. And we're still doing a lot of sidebars with Blue Chip, ranging, because all the teams are still staying there, and there's a lot of little things that you can be done to make sure they come back, and Angie's really good at that, and we're staying on top of that. We've done little things like arranging for a priest to be there to say a few words before they leave the hotel, things like that somebody dropped the ball on, and we got the call and we made it happen. Just little things like that add to the whole experience for these teams. So that's going great. We really, and again, good job, Angie, for hanging on to all those. And Pat, I think for the most part, that's all my updates. I'll let Amy go into the rest under their heads and beds. Is any questions on anything I had? Anything at all? The last thing that, of course, I've told you last month that we're on it is the budget. It'll be for your consumption in a few days, and the plan is if everything goes time-wise and you guys all feel good about what we send out, we'll try to get it on the agenda for the November meeting. No surprises at all. Not as I look at it again this morning, I see staying just right in track with last year. The income is going to let us do that, so we probably won't be adding any big projects, but we're not going to be taking any away either. And then it'll give us some time to assess that again for the following year. So that's kind of, I wouldn't, unless somebody's got something, say it now or forever hold your peace, because the gavel goes down pretty quick. Okay. But
don't worry, I got the gavel.
I'll
hold it up a little.
That special assessment did work really well in letting us, if we happen to miss something, that was a great tool.
Right.
That, like Mr. Carpenter didn't know about the vehicle going to go down or something like that.
Right.
So that worked pretty good too.
That is good.
So it's not as much pressure on that budget being exact, I guess, with that in mind. So that's all I got, Pat, unless you got anything. All right, so Linda, you want to go?
And I'll just jump in real quick. I know Pat mentioned the NAACP, and so is Jack. We are a silver sponsor for the event next week. I've been working with several of the members, and also our Dale Cooper is also working with them, helping to arrange things at P&W, so, and then with the transportation and everything else. Kudos to Cheryl Seitz, who worked with us real quick to order tote bags for the conference. Their logo's on there as well as the CDB. So
I'm glad she works good with somebody.
That's on TV.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna if she doesn't watch any of them, we're gonna make sure she watches.
Exactly. That's a copy of the minutes, of course. But it's been, exciting this time of year to just have, something else. I think this is something every 10 years that could come to our county, and so we're real pleased to be able to welcome the group and help transport, et cetera, and so on. So Danita Scully was over here yesterday, so we kind of went through a lot of things. You know, if you don't realize it, we see it with our boat race, but there are a lot of pieces to this project, and a lot of the membership and their committee have really jumped in, and thanks to Pat, have worked really well with us as far. Just real quick, Friday night, Mayor Perry had his charity ball at Blue Chip. Just want to say kudos to Blue Chip once again. Fantastic job with the red, white, and blue theme. It was I think everyone was just once again happy to get out and meet and greet and have a great meal, and they had a great band as well. And we also, I forgot to bring it today, but we also purchased an ad in their program for Friday night. Today, the Northwest Indiana Forum has their Ignite the Region at Blue Chip. And this is huge for us to have it. Usually it's over in Lake County at the Avalon Event Center. And so Governor Holcomb will be speaking there today, and some of us from the CBB will be in attendance, but I can't express how big this is, because usually over the years, Jack and I and others have had to travel over to Maryville to attend this. So Blue Chip was able to get that, and I think once we do it, hopefully it'll come back year after year. And once again, the governor will be there, so I know we're going to have a great turnout for that. Just this month and following up next month, visitor guide contracts have all turned in, so we've got all our partners and some new partners on board. We've been meeting with ECs from the Herald Dispatch, so we will be right now pulling everything together, doing some news stories on some of our partners that you'll see. And then obviously the big thing, which I'll be seeing by the end of the week, is the front cover, which is always one, you know, everybody gets excited, and we're trying to go way out with this one just to really make it pop for 2024.
Is there a theme for the front cover that you've come up with? Is there a theme for it yet?
We're working on it.
Oh, you are working on it.
Yes, so,
I know, I'll get it out of her way.
Okay, yeah. But it is, you know, like I said, everybody's participating, from Chelsea, who receives the contracts, proofs them, puts them in our system, and then we have Tricia doing some of the proofing. Amy also goes through a lot of, it's a team effort. So usually by the time we have everything in, and so we do an upload to the printer around the 10th of December, and we usually have everything delivered before Christmas, which is awesome. So that's our biggest project for the year that we do internally, and working with the Wozniak group. The other projects that we have, or contracts we have for 2024, like Jack mentioned, and referring to the budget, a lot of those are NITDC, ITA, Visit Indiana, and some of the projects we do with them on an annual basis. So all of that's starting to come together as we review the contracts and so on. And once again, Amy plays a huge part. The 7th and 8th of November is our last Indiana Tourism Association board and membership meeting. It's going to be held in Indy, and actually the membership meeting is going to be at the Indianapolis Zoo, so that should be fun. A lot of things, yeah. A lot of things. I hope it's warm like it's supposed to be today. But once again, ITA's done an awesome job in working with the different county CVBs. We have a seat on the board, and they're wrapping up their strategic plan. We've been working on it most of the year with different teams, so that will be presented probably for our meeting in first quarter. We usually have 4 in-person meetings, and then the rest are all virtual. And then there's several PR committees, social committees, and so on, that we all do virtual. So we all, CVBs, have an opportunity to play a part in a lot of the decision-making that comes up with ITA, Visit Indiana, Team Indiana, which is the sports side. Rick Wright, actually I saw there is a virtual call coming up that he'll be on, so we'll hopefully get some updates on that and just see where that's going. But it just shows that other than what we do here, that we do stretch out and serve on multiple boards and so on. Economic Development, Michigan City meets this Thursday, so we're pretty much wrapping up the year, and I gotta tell you, a lot of great things going on with interest development here in Michigan City. Know about the double track on the 25th. The train will start leaving from here to Chesterton and then exchanging bus to Gary. A couple more years, we'll be able to go all the way to Chicago in under an hour. So every year it's something else that's happening here and obviously in the county. So it's a great county to be part of and work with because we are being watched, and with the state prison several years away, offers other development for us, as well as more growth and so on. And so we've got a lot of great things going on, and the CDB, VMCLP is right there with all of it. So
Thank you so much, appreciate that. Amy?
Okay, well, as Jack reported, we've been busy and we're really excited about all the happenings in November. All the events that are going on really should be start visitor assessment this month, so that's good news. Also, our team visited hotels, last week. Got a lot of new information. As Jack also said, kind of stole my thunder here. Notre Dame, they've really boosted up their rates over in South Bend, so we've really taken advantage of that. Every year, we get a lot of Notre Dame business, but this year more than ever, all of them were talking the talk, so that was great news. A couple key highlights: Microtel Inn and Suites, Pine Resort and Banquets, and Hampton Inn all have new general managers. So we've met with them, and we're excited to foster those relationships. It is a high turnover industry, so it's good that we're always out there and meeting these people. So we did that. That was good. Also, 4411 Inn and Suites has a new shuttle service, which we're super excited about because they go to the airports. You don't have to be a guest to use the shuttle service. If you are a guest, you do get a discount though. So we're working with them through this. We're going to meet soon just to go over it. We have a new flyer that, again, everyone can take advantage of it. We get a lot of phone calls here, so we're hoping that'll really help. You know, when we lost Coach and then COVID hit and those things happened, that was, we took a bit of a hit there as far as helping people get to the airport and so on. So we're just excited to help offer that service again. Let's see what else. 4411 Inn & Suites also has a new food truck. It's called the Cook Street Cafe. We had breakfast there. It's delicious. I would recommend that to anybody. As Jack mentioned, Uno's Pizzeria is open at Pine Lake Resort and Banquets. Katie and I were there for the soft opening. That pizza was delicious as well, so I'd recommend that too. It's been busy. I've noticed lots of cars in the parking lot, so that's good. I think that's basically it. So, like I said, Jack reported all the crazy.
Good deal. Well, you do too much. I can't help myself.
It's hard to hold it in.
It is. Yeah. At least you know I'm reading your material, right? So that moves us into Michigan City. You want to go next? Anything?
We're just kind of winding down a little bit. It's obviously a pretty busy summer, and so things are slowing down a little bit. As Linda said, we hosted the Mayor's Red, White, Blue Charity Ball on Friday night. That was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. But it was very successful. We're waiting to see the final numbers, but I believe we raised some good money for Meals on Wheels, the Service League of Michigan City, and Social Learning Institute. So it's great to have that event back. Coming up on Tuesday, October 31st, Michigan City will host our official trick-or-treat night for the kids from 5 to 7. That's been a success, and hopefully that'll be a good, safe night for the kids.
What's the date again?
The 31st.
The 30th, okay, the
31st, yeah. And then our last big event of the year is the Festival of Lights celebration, which includes our Festival of Lights parade. That's on Saturday, December 2nd. We're changing things up a little bit this year. Last year we had one location after the parade. We did the chili cook-off and visit Santa Claus. And this year we're going to switch it around. We're going to actually have the chili cook-off and visit Santa Claus before the parade. All the details are still being worked out. We're working with Katie Eaton from the Chamber of Commerce. The idea this year, instead of having one location where the chili cook-off is, we're going to actually take all of the different chili contestants and move them around to downtown businesses to try and drive traffic into some of the stores. So hopefully people will move around downtown, do the chili cook-off. The money we raise in the chili cook-off goes to Meals on Wheels. And I believe we've secured a location, but I don't want to announce it yet, for Santa Claus, where he will be. And then at 5 o'clock we'll have the Festival of Lights parade. Last year, I think with this kind of just coming back, I think we had 26 units last year. We're already over 30 this year. So it's getting bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit better every year. And then immediately following the parade will be the lighting of the Christmas tree in front of the library. And at that same time, the lights in Washington Park will be turned on and people can go down to the park. So lots of stuff coming up. And then within the next couple of weeks, we've already secured all of our dates for our 2024 schedule. So we'll be announcing our 2024 event schedule probably in the next 2 weeks or so.
Good deal. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it. Brett, how about LaPorte?
Let's see, for LaPorte events, we're winding down for our citywide events on November 25th. We'll be hosting the Santa Parade for the second year in a row. We're going to do it in the afternoon again. This year it's going to start at 3:30. It's going to follow the same route as we did last year, going from State and Tipton west down State Street to Michigan Avenue. Then it's going to go south on Michigan Avenue to Highway 2 Lincoln Way. And then we're going to go back east to the plaza. One of the changes we are making, we're going to close with the blessings of the State Highway Department, Monroe Street between Lincoln Way and Jefferson this year. Last year we tried closing the little Stitch area and had a few things over there, but the amount of kids and the amount of volume we get at Plaza 618 with Santa and the Chalet just makes more sense to do it on the other side of the street. We think it'll be a little safer for all the kids that are there too. Last year we probably had over 600 people crowding the area, so we thought that was best. December 9th will be the annual cookie walk. The cookie tins are ordered to start selling those the week of Thanksgiving, and we're going to utilize some of the downtown businesses again as we have in the last 2 years on selling those, and we're honoring the holiday pops this year on the cookie tin cover. So that's a big tradition in the city of LaPorte, and generally is the kickoff for the holiday season to a lot of people, although it's the second Saturday in December. So those are the things we have going from citywide. At the Civic, we've been quite busy. I can report, Jack was just talking about Pop Warner. We were blessed to host the Princess Gala again with the cheerleading squad. We probably had over 5,000 people come through the building over the course of the day. I have never seen the parking look that way in that neighborhood. It's a wonderful problem to have, and everybody handled it very well, but it was a great day. One of the things with an event like that is you have constant turnover, so some people may question that number, but you do not have 1,160 people just sitting still. You have constant teams performing, leaving with their parents, new ones coming in the entire day long. It's quite impressive. Hats off to the squad, especially the volunteers they had. Jack was there some too, Derek and his crew, and some volunteers from Arnett Construction. Jack helped me. We're attracting teams from the Chicagoland area all the way to what, St. Joe County, pretty much?
Yeah, there was a couple Kansas City groups and a couple Detroit, but that was more Chicago, Indiana. Yeah.
It's just quite impressive. I wish, for probably regret saying this, had a little bigger facility to get some of the bigger events that they have, but it was quite fun and quite enjoyable to watch. On top of that, let's see what else we hosted. We hosted the LaPorte County Symphony annual student concert. the following Wednesday. So over the course of 4 days, we had over 10,000 kids people come through the building because they brought in over 5,000 students from Lake County to St. Joe County, and then south to Stark and Elkhart County, and then of course LaPorte County was very well represented. LaPorte County Symphony every year, the Wednesday of Columbus Day week, hosts the student concert where over the course of the day they do 3 performances. The whole idea is to introduce kids from 5th grade and younger to classical instruments and music and give them a little education and most importantly some fun entertainment. But it's quite impressive to see what they do. Mike Drayton and family and the LaPorte County Symphony sponsor that and take care of all the work, and it's quite fun for us to have it set up. On top of that, we have this Friday, we have the lead singer of Rascal Flatts, the band that dominated the country charts for 20 years with 17 #1 hits. We'll be playing at the Civic Auditorium this Friday. Doors open at 6. Opening act is Whistle Pigs. They'll take the stage at 7, and then Gary LeBeau or LeBox? Depends on the day. He'll be performing at about 8:30. We're really looking forward to that. And then some of our upcoming shows include we have the Fleetwood Mac tribute Rumors from the West Coast coming in on November 18th. On December 16th, we have a Highwayman tribute Christmas show, which is basically the tribute artists for Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Chris Christopherson. It's all started with the Johnny Cash Christmas show he put on in '74, and then he formed this group afterwards. They'll do some of their big hits too, like Me and Bobby McGee and Folsom County Blues and stuff like that. But it's going to be centered around a Christmas theme as well. So we're real excited for December 16th, and then on December 29th, we'll have one of the top Journey tributes in the country coming in, Escape, with a Foreigner tribute, Hot Blooded, to start your New Year's weekend. And then the following weekend from that, we will have the NIBC tournament back at the LaPorte Civic Auditorium. That would not be possible with the support and help of not only financial, but employee and work-wise. Visit Michigan City, LaPorte, and everything Jack and the crew do for us with that. Takes a huge load off me because they pretty much man the front of the house for me, and it's a huge benefit. But we're real excited about that, and if I could say that one more time, we probably all would have to put $1 in the jar. One of the big things with that, though, is our tickets hopefully will be going on sale the first week in November. We have a meeting this afternoon to work on that a little bit more, and I will forward Jack the information for that after we have it. And I believe after this meeting, we're meeting with someone to discuss the programs for the NIBC. We're hoping to upgrade those some this year as well.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask you,
Which one?
Basketball.
January 4th to the 6th.
Thank you.
can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
And if you don't know, it's okay. What is the utilization of the Civic at the current time? I mean, if you had to look over
In what fashion, Pat?
days available, days used.
Like compared to a previous year.
Well,
Yeah, compared to like previous. Because it just sounds like,
It
oh my
is
God.
much busier. I guess a good way to put it, Pat, is in past, like before 2015, a lot of times the Civic was only rented once a week. And then it was off market for like holiday weekends, even like Columbus Day. Like the Princess Gala would not have happened before 2015 because it was on holiday weekend. We've kind of changed the way we do things. Although it is a city and community building, we also understand that it's a entertainment venue. And people want entertainment or things in your community regardless of what weekend it is. I try to be sensitive to I'm not gonna book something on Christmas Day, I mean, unless it just makes sense for everybody. But we have multiple weekend usages, such as, the weekend of the Princess Gala, we had a wedding on the 7th, the night before, then we were in cleaning before they came in to get everything done that morning, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the following weekend we had rentals Friday, Saturday, Sunday. From a person standpoint, we're up, people attending events, over 300% in the last 3 years.
Okay.
Building usage wise, I would say we're up about 220%.
That's what it's just remarkable the job you and your team have done over there. I mean, when I listen to your reports, it's like, I can't write all this stuff down because you got
Yeah,
stuff after.
It's hard to keep straight in my head
Yeah,
sometimes because it all blends together, and I know, like, I try not to make our reports too run on, but at the same time,
It's
we're very
great
happy
to
with what we
hear.
do. We couldn't do it without the help of the city and the Bureau. I mean, even little things like behind the scenes, and Jack doesn't mind that I mentioned this, you know, when we had the Love and Way concert, we had drivers helping us, like, shuttle people back and forth to hotels and airports and things like that. We're getting a little bit of help this weekend, actually, with that. You know, it's not something with a lot of our tribute acts that we always need it, but some of the bigger ones that are flying in, such as the Fleetwood Mac Rumors is off the West Coast. You know, generosity of the Bureau to, like, help facilitate these type of events and bring people in. Because I will tell you this too, and this is something that I think is huge. For the Loverboy and the Gary LaVox concerts that we had and are having this weekend, I've had calls from Indianapolis, from Bloomington, from Louisville, Kentucky, to Detroit, Milwaukee. Like, we're not getting huge crowds from that area, but we are getting visitors. The Sunflower Fair, we had people calling me, like, wanting directions and what to do that were coming up from Indy and Bloomington. Our Friday Night Live events are drawing people from other counties. You know, they're telling, oh yeah, we heard about this last year. I mean, it's definitely building, and we just feel like we've turned it more into a tourist situation than just entertainment within the community.
Yeah, Pat, that wasn't by accident. I mean, I think it's important that as long as we're on that side, the board understands the role that some of the other board members that were here ahead of you and you all played in this. If you think about Mayor Krentz came to us at a point in time where we weren't sure if the Civic was even going to be able to sustain itself at all. And this board made a great decision to get involved financially. I worked with the Mayor Krentz and then currently Mayor Dermody, and they've got a great vision, and it's worked. And it's because of the help that we did. I mean, that literally probably would have went the other direction. That's what they were looking at. They wanted to be able to fill the director spot, which is key to bringing in all the events and running that. And I've been watching it really close, especially Mayor Dermody's first year. He came up with some, and it was about a 2-to-1 over before we started helping finance this till that point in time, in number of bookings.
Right.
And then since then, we've done the remodeling. That we didn't pay for that, the art money did, but we helped with that. And now that we've got the expanded seating and the lighting and the air conditioning and everything, it's going to be tremendous. But it was a big deal for this board to be in. By the way, it's going to be on the budget again. The money we put in the Michigan City director, the LaPorte director, and the county director.
Right.
But, and to verify, sometimes numbers even speak louder than words. In 2015, we had that's that example. 2019, our budget from the city of LaPorte out of tax dollars. For those of us with government backgrounds, we have like tax general fund dollars, we have non-reverting revenue dollars, okay? Those pots don't mix, no matter what you hear in the public, no matter what people like to write on TV. They're very, very, or not write on TV, write in the newspaper and stuff. They're very distinct pots, they don't blend, it's against the law, you can't do that.
Right.
Our money from the general fund tax revenue in 2019 and 2020 peaked at about $290,000. With what we've done over the last 4 years, the budget that was just passed by City Council and the City of LaPorte, our budget out of tax dollars for 2024 is $69,000. We have managed to generate enough revenue that we are now paying for our maintenance staff, we're now paying for our NIPSCO, we're paying my salary with the assistance of the CDB, funding as well, all out of our non-reverting revenue dollars. No tax dollars are being spent on the events we are putting on, like our concerts and that all comes out of our revenue dollars.
Well, that's all, that's exactly the kind of information I was looking for, and thank you for expanding on it, because
thanks for asking.
I do have a concern or interest in making sure that, you know, these types of facilities become self-sufficient. And that's what we're working towards with FMEC. And, you know, we gotta, again, like you did, we gotta build to that. But it's good to share that with the viewing audience too, to let them know
Right.
that it has been successful in turning it around. And as Jack said, at one point, we didn't know if it was going to even be there.
And at the
So
same
now-
time, we're still doing what we've done in the past. We still host over 300 park and recreation classes
Right.
in our building that we get absolutely no revenue for. All that money goes back to the recreation department. We still are assisting with, during COVID, we were having blood drives and COVID testing in the facility that were complimentary in the city of LaPorte, no charges, no anything. We assisted with the Red Cross, Northwest Health, all these things. HealthLink now, things that they do that should be charged for, we do, but we assist in the community when we need to. We've had, food drives, like Feed Northwest Indiana, all those type of things still occur at our building because it is a community building.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Pat, that brings us to, you've already covered the county event
Yes.
portion, and I've touched on the blue chip. So in closing, I will just remind everyone that next Tuesday, the 31st, we've got the race recap meeting that was canceled last month. And Terry, when he was talking, made me think about just making sure you all knew, Terry plays such a big part in everything that happens with that event, but certainly the follow-up and the recap that the information he supplied, we're gonna share that with our partners, and of course, the board's welcome, 9 o'clock next Tuesday morning, Blue Chip. Be a fairly short meeting, and we'll get everybody in and out about an hour. Love to have you stop in. So that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Very good, very good. Okay, do we have any unfinished business? Our new business today will be a presentation from Jason from Applegate and Company, and it will be our 2022 financial audit. So Jason, you have the floor.
Before I bore you with numbers, I just wanted to say that hearing all that was very impressive. I mean, as a resident, there's never a weekend that goes by that I don't have some option of something fun to do in LaPorte County. But to know that this room holds the people that are responsible for that, that's impressive. And just from a resident, we appreciate that. So,
Well, thank you for that comment, because that's what it really boils down to.
And then, you go week to week and you see that there's always something available, but you don't realize how much planning goes into it as a normal outside of the board person. So I see the numbers, but I don't hear all that. And usually I just do my presentation and leave, so I'm glad to have stayed. And it's also nice, I think, Brett left, but to hear that the business, things like the Civic is becoming self-sustainable, that's good as a taxpayer too. So,
Yes.
and he's right, we see all the negative side from the average poster on Facebook about how things are being shifted inappropriately, but it just doesn't happen. I know that, but the average person does not. So anyway, before I bore you too much, there's just two packets I handed out. The smaller one is our required communication with those charged with governance, which is the board, management. It's clean as always. This has become a well-oiled machine over the years between staff here and AFS. We only have 2 journal entries, one for depreciation and one for adjusting the loan balances, which is a real good indication that things are clean. I mean, I go to places where I have 3 pages of journal entries, and we are concerned when that happens, but this is just normal expected things that happen every year. We had no new accounting policies. People in business, if you had an accrual basis financial, you'd be adopting the lease standards and such this year, but being cash basis, we don't have to worry about those things, which is nice. No difficulties dealing with management and completing the audit, and basically we're happy with all of that. On the number side is the thicker packet, kind of mirroring what I just said. Our opinion on page 1 is that everything is presented fairly and that we don't have any complaints about the financial statements. Page 4 starts the actual numbers. All positive things to say. The innkeeper's tax might be a little misleading. It decreased on here, but that's because it's cash basis. If you looked at the numbers on an accrual basis, you were actually up compared to 2021 for innkeeper revenue. Gaming tax went way up, which I think we've seen that bounce back from the pre-COVID numbers, basically. You did get some APRA funds from LaPorte County, and that's the miscellaneous revenue increase, which left you with about $292,000 more of revenue compared to 2021. You did spend more than you did in prior years, all on program services. The general administrative only went up a little bit. If we jump back to page 6, you can see where the money was spent. A bit was salaries and wages, which kind of normal raises for staff, and I believe one of the part-time folks ended up going back to full-time hours since COVID. Your sponsorship expenses went up, which mirrored some of the revenue too. And special activities expenses by far the biggest increase, which is all the programs you put on. You know, all 3 events, the main events, the boat race and the 2 jet ski races, they all increase in volume, and it's good that you're spending the money on things that the residents appreciate to be able to go see. You also added the basketball tourney in 2022, I believe. So a lot of new things. The only thing on the G&A side that really changed is travel, and I think again that's just bouncing back from COVID. More travel's happening, and you have that extra travel with the additional special event things. So back on page 4, that left you with excessive revenues over expenses of $445,000. A great trend every year. You guys are really just killing it, and sort of like we just talked about with the Civic, you guys have become self-sufficient, and this whole program pays for itself with tax revenue of tourism. So it's really nice to see that. Left you with $2.7 million in net assets, which is just a great position to be in. We had talked about moving some of that money into interest-bearing funds last year. You guys have accomplished that this year, so that's great to hear. All of that profit is liquid, though, in cash and investments and prepaid expenses. That's a new line item this year. You prepaid some of your 2023 commitments. Most of that is with the NITDC, and some of it was with the Civic. But other than that, just super strong balance sheet. We only had one new, well, not a new footnote, but on page 13, updated the commitments footnote to show that at least the list space was extended for another 5 years. And on page 14, there's just a future rents expected to be paid. So that's the only thing new, though. Everything's clean, and you've done a great job in managing this. And again, happy to be able to
I'm sorry, you said on page 14 was the future.
Yeah, that schedule right at the top, that shows your minimum rents for the next 5 years. It's just, we disclose that if you have any contracts like that.
Okay, because it just says commitments, and that's.
Well, yeah, on 13 starts the footnote, which describes the actual.
Okay, gotcha.
And then 14 is the numbers.
Gotcha, right there.
I focus on the numbers too often, for some reason. So that's all I have to say. Any questions?
Board members, it's your opportunity to chime in.
And you can always, if you think of anything, you can always contact me outside of the board meeting.
Do we need a motion to accept that?
Well, yes, but we're still talking. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't know if you.
You're gonna have to approve it. Yes, we do have to approve it, but is there anything else? Okay, all right. Well, with that, yes, we need a motion to approve.
I'm not gonna make it.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew.
Keyword
I set you up, Mike. Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the auditor's report.
2 seconds?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mike Seitz and a second by Adam Knizzny to approve the financial audit as presented by Applegate and Company Representative Jason here to do that. Any other questions or comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again.
I'd like to just, before Jason leaves, or just to close that out, that certainly as in treasurer's role, we appreciate what Becky does in helping us online, but Gail is responsible for everything that happens here on a financial basis. I mean, her and I work together, but I put that squarely in her lap when we hired Gail, and she's done a great job with that every year. We've not had, and I'm proud of this, we've not had one tick ever in all the transactions that we do, whether it's travel, credit card, meals, whatever it is. And that's, she's keeping me in line in that same stand. But the point is, we need to recognize that the fact that Gail has worked with Jason from day one, and he's kind of trained us a little bit, but now we're at the point where we kind of know what to expect, and we're getting it right.
Well, on behalf of the board, Gail, we do appreciate your work, and I think Jack has expressed that to us before.
And that's a major task, keeping him in.
Yeah. And I was going to get to that. I was going to say, the most important thing you do, besides the numbers.
Why I said it.
But no, really, we do appreciate all that you do, and it does not go unnoticed.
Thank you all very much.
And I'll just say, on behalf of the board too, this is a great team to work with. It's a great organization. Its purpose is just, it's kind of a fun environment, even though getting to the fun part sometimes presents a lot of challenges. I was going to say, getting to the fun part sometimes presents challenges to get there, but staff is able to work through that, and that's, again, the board supporting staff and allowing them to do what they do best. And we really do appreciate the board and staff. So with that, do we have any other board comments?
I just have one. I think we should highlight that a new restaurant is in LaPorte. It's a new unique family-owned, LaPorte-owned restaurant, Drift on Pine. So it's not a chain. It's really nice. I don't only think it's going to be nice for LaPorte residents, but I think it's going to draw like New Buffalo traffic and Chicago traffic in because it is really unique. It's inside, outside seating, open all year round. Drift on Pine.
Drift?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it
bowling alley in Pine Lake.
looks right out to Pine Lake. And yeah, it's really, really nice.
It's got a third-story roof deck that overlooks the condos actually, so you can see the lake, which is kind of nice.
It's really
They put a lot of thought into it.
What's their specialty?
There's a little bit of everything,
it's all
and there's a
about
cocktail lounge on
They got
top.
bacon. Bacon appetizer, that's it.
Yeah,
my heart.
it's really nice. They're open till
Well, they
11,
put on a lot of
so
stuff too, the bacon. So
yeah, they
kinda
do.
like
Okay, I'm already wanting to go there.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really delicious. Bacon.
We should highlight that for sure.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
thanks.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We do a dine around where all the staff every month are asked to visit so many restaurants, and then we accumulate the information for our restaurant guides and
Well, wait,
I wanna be on that
board
team.
members.
Yeah.
What do you mean just as
Can we be taste
this wasn't a Christmas gift, this is a work opportunity.
We want to work. That kind of work we're in.
Yeah, now we say we got everybody, thanks Mike, I should have never went there.
Well, yeah, I'm like,
But
I agree with Mike on this one. Mike, we agree on this one.
we do try to pull in a lot of restaurant information. We haven't talked about that in a while. So next meeting, I'll have Dale give us some updates on some of the menus and some of the restaurants. And if that was a great point, because that's going to be big.
It is.
If they're going to succeed, you've been around there, it's going to be Chicago traffic and Michigan traffic that makes them go over the top.
Yeah, but it's also really good for LaPorte because they're open later, and like restaurants, unless you go to like a sports bar, are open later. So this is a nice change for like our age. Yeah.
Sunday and Monday is
Yes,
closed.
everything's
7 days
closed.
a week.
Yeah.
That is different. That
They
is
kind of sell it as like down.
Well, I'm gonna throw something out for the consideration of this organization, that when that staff goes out, that one board member per meeting we're gonna do that too. I like the idea of one board member that will rotate and we'll get a chance to get involved in something.
And Doug, you can't monopolize this.
No, he won't, trust me.
We used to do that years ago, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, who's in charge of that committee?
Dale.
Oh, Dale, okay. Well, let Dale know that she has the responsibility to include one board member in rotation.
I will.
I'm just kidding. I am just kidding, really. But that would be nice if you all
Budget hasn't been
want to.
finalized yet.
Right, yeah. Build it right in.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. Anything else from the board? Any other great restaurants opening that we can go to eat? No, okay, with that, our next meeting, and we need to decide now what we're gonna do with our December meeting, because of the time frame. And a couple of board members have mentioned it, about the time frame for that meeting. And in the past, we've tried to do it earlier, but then it always conflicts with other things going on. So unless we have any official business that we have to take care of, Jack, and I don't think we usually do, because the budget's going to be resolved in November, right?
Correct.
And that's the only other thing that would be outstanding from my experience, unless something comes up. And then we could always call a special meeting if we have
So
to.
your pleasure is to,
I want to not have December
we'll
meeting.
put there that way.
So
Laura's good with that. We can do that. We can do in January, we can do 2 months worth of expenditures, but that's what we normally do.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We've done it before. We've done it before when, I guess the meeting landed right on Christmas Day a couple of times, and we just didn't have the meeting.
It's good to know that ahead of time.
Ahead of time, so you can plan for it. So we're not gonna vote on it at this meeting, but I want you to think about it. If you have any concerns, we'll vote on it at the November meeting, but just wanted to bring that to your attention. So our next meeting will be November 28, 2023. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Have a great month.
Thanks, everybody.
Great report, Jason.